I'm happy to say that this is our first podcast, the United States Investing Championship first podcast. I'm Norm Zeta, and I'm happy to have here with me from Hong Kong, if I'm not mistaken, Jay Law. And Jay Law just broke Mark Minervini's world record for the million plus division. Mark Minervini had set a record of 338.4%, and Mr. Law has just made 359.3%, and I want to congratulate him for that. Before I begin, I'd like to say that we take the accuracy of our results very seriously. So when anybody has a high performance in this competition, particularly if they set a new record, we go over their statements carefully, okay? And in Mr. Law's case, he sent us a 85-page interactive brokerage account. And those of you who are familiar with interactive brokers know that they have wonderful statements. They're very easy to read. They compute a time-weighted return. I went over the statement carefully, and I can assure everyone that he did, in fact, make 359.3%. That said, Mr. Law, welcome. How are things in Hong Kong?
Oh, great.
I'm very proud to be here as a Hong Konger or Hong Kong person, because my mother language is not English, so I'm bringing in my friend to do translation for me.
So let's start by asking some obvious questions. Is there one or more books that you would recommend to our viewers?
Well, it's a very tough question to answer because there are too many good books to read. But if I were to only recommend one book, it would be the series of Market Visits.
That was a Jack Schwager. He wrote that, correct? Yeah, I'm actually
Correct.
quite familiar with that series. Do you use any computer programs to help you?
I don't use any computer programs. I just use like everyone does to use TradingView or a Futu or Mau Mau, those type of information trading platforms to get data. Obviously, I think it is very important to review my trading records. So I'm using ChartLog to analyze and interpret my trading records.
Have you ever written any of? Excuse me. Have you ever read any of Mark Minervini's books or taken any of his courses?
He's my mentor, I would say. Of course, I have read many of his books. I can even remember most of his teachings on the books. And obviously, I also joined his trading courses.
Okay, so if somebody came up to you and said, "Mr. Law, please help me make money in the markets," what would you tell them to do?
Well, there's one thing that you have to remember is that you don't become LeBron James in one day. You can't go to the field just by simple, few days training. So you do have to do your homework. I believe the 10,000 hours rule is very essential and relevant. You have to spend time in a number of years in trading for you to get familiar and immersed into the industry, and that you have to go through cycles of bear and bull markets. There is no shortcut.
So how many years have you been trading?
10 年, 15 years.
15 years. And did you start off making money, or did it take a while?
At the beginning, I traded randomly without any methodology. I was overwhelmed with the concept of financial independence. So I just follow what the KOLs, the popular at that moment of time, and to follow the recommendations to buy the bank stock simply for the reason they give really high interest yield. But I didn't care about all those basic information of the stock
係，
market.
但係結果咧，我就嗰年咧就係金融海嘯嚟嘅。
Unfortunately, that was the year of 2008. I was pretty young at that stage, but all the stocks that I've bought dropped the value by 50%, and I lost a lot of money. Then I know that there is no shortcut, and I really have to, learn and to pay effort. So I joined some courses in town to start learning from the bottoms up. And that moment of time, value investing was the only key or norm for one to get into the stock trading.
然
So
後我就學咗好，
go ahead. Okay, let me ask you a question. So would you describe yourself as a value investor, buy and hold, can slim, day trader? How would you describe yourself?
I don't believe in stereotyping. I think it is very important to pick a relevant style, a style that is relevant to that particular point of time. So I have to be very flexible.
So would you attribute your performance this year to great success in a small number of stocks? Is there any particular stock that you traded this year that was responsible for a substantial portion of your gain?
I think this year is very similar to 2019. For after every year, it's my practice to do postmortem. So I review each year's trading patterns and the stock market pattern, some to distill some learnings and insights for the year forward. So the similarity lies in a lot of the profits in the market comes from respective big winners. So this year is no exception. So buy and hold on some big winners stock is my strategy.
Okay,
this year.
so I noticed in your statements that you had a large position in Palantir, and as far as I could tell, you made a significant percentage of your actual gain in Palantir. My question to you is, what made you buy Palantir?
OK，
It is a market leader and it monopolizes the market in this
Yeah.
in its own right. Palantir has the traits of a big winner stock, and I think it is very important in a bull market year like 2024. It is essential and it is very important to identify those big winners quickly and get into the positions quickly. Its market, its traits is very similar to Google, Shopify, those big winners in the past. It has its technology advantage, and its contribution has a very big impact to the entire world. It has this very unique and proprietary technological advantage. So it monopolizes the market in the sense that no one can copy their technology and the market leader position. It is also the market leader in what we call now is a hot topic in the market, that is AI. So artificial intelligence is really the buzzword for the market.
Let me ask a question. So I noticed that you had put on, I think, your initial position on March 6th, and then you sold it the next day for a loss. And then you didn't actually get into the stock in any significant way until I think it was June, early June. So my question to you is, so what made you decide to get out of your initial trade shortly after you got into it around March 6th?
Let me look back to the chart first. Maybe I forget the chart already. Anyway,
I follow by my rules that if any stock that hits my stop loss signal, once the signal is triggered, I will just have to sell it with no mercy. The reason that I didn't buy Palantir even earlier was that its pattern was not very stable during the time around March. So yeah, so that's why I didn't get in the position earlier. So it hit my stop loss because it doesn't have any significant uptrend. So I sold it.
And so you put on your first position, as I recall, I'm just looking at my papers here, on June 4th at 21.95. So what made you decide to go back in at that time?
It shows very clear signal that it has a breakout pattern. We can refer it the pattern is like a PCP pattern or bull flag pattern. But it has very clear signal, so I entered the market right away.
Okay, good. Let me ask you about one other stock that I noticed you made a decent amount of money on. That was MicroStrategy.
Mm.
Why did you decide to take a substantial position in MicroStrategy Inc.?
Simply because as industry, it by that moment of time, Bitcoin was really the hype of the market. It's a leading stock in the cryptocurrency. It has a very strong fundamental data that we all heard that is investing its own profit into buying Bitcoins. So this kind of momentum and cycle will push up Bitcoin's price as well as the stock price of MicroStrategy. I really fancy this type of stock, which has a very strong fundamental and also technical advantage.
So, do you still own any Palantir or MicroStrategy?
I've cleared all my position on MicroStrategy, but I still keep some runners from the profit on Palantir.
Interesting. There was another stock that I noticed that you put on a fairly substantial position, and that was SoFi Technologies. Could you tell me why you liked SoFi Technologies?
Okay.
The fintech industry has also been a hype during the last quarter of the year, and the entire industry is not only SoFi, but also UPSD and Affirm are showing very strong growth signal. Out of all the fintech stock, I reviewed all the data and find that actually SoFi shows the strongest momentum and also the fundamental data. But most important is that when I look at the data, the trading data, that it has very strong price action. It shows tremendous uptrend and very strong momentum, especially after it released its earnings.
So, is it accurate to say that you prefer the leader in each industry? If you get involved, it's primarily in the leader.
So it's a very good question. Is I would say I would pick the leading group, but I will also among the leading group I will pick the leader out of the leading group.
Understood. Do you ever sell stock short?
I did, but it's not my style. During bear market, I would short some stocks, but it's not my focus. It's never been my focus.
What was your worst trade this year?
Worst trade, CrowdStrike.
CrowdStrike.
And did you learn anything from that trade?
Yeah. Uh, Actually,
If it's not this competition, I don't think I would have done this trade that was.
So you're blaming me.
no, no,
You're
no.
blaming.
Uh,
You-
uh,
I'll take the money you made if you don't mind.
Because I was betting on a rebound of the stock. So I was very aggressive in making that trade, and eventually, I didn't follow my rules on this trade, and that's why I lost money.
What stop loss do you put on? Is it a percentage stop loss?
I have several ways in developing my stop loss strategy. The percentage stop loss is only one of them. The control on the maximum drawdown has always been my priority.
And what do you mind if I ask what that would be?
Let me calculate. I need to do some calculations. Sorry. I need to use my calculator.
Right, but if it was a percentage of the entire account, that would be a big number. So I assume it's not a percentage of the entire account unless it's a very small percentage.
Can you repeat your question?
I'm still wondering, you say you're not just using a percentage in terms of the decline in the stock, you're also using a percentage in terms of the drawdown relative to your account value, correct? But then my point
Mm.
was that if you're gonna, you have a $3 or $4 million account at some point, so it would seem that you probably, I'm just wondering what percentage is it? Is it a tenth of 1% of your account value, or what? How can you quantify that for us?
That is relevant to the position sizing, but in my general practice, the maximum drawdown contributed by one particular trade won't be bigger than 0.3% of the entire portfolio.
Okay, 0.3%. Can I ask you just some general questions here? Like, what do you think of? I don't expect you to be right here because few people are, but I'm just curious. What do you think of, say, Bitcoin right now?
Well, I would interpret Bitcoin from different levels. One is that as an asset that's prevailing around the world, it has significant value because it's widely supported by the president-to-be in United States, Donald Trump, and also other different markets, different countries. However, it is not directly relevant to how I see the price and also to see its related stocks in the market. So they are two different things.
What do you think of the market right here? Just in general, do you think 2025 is going to be an up year for the United States stock market?
Uh,
It won't be an easy year like 2024 or 2023. It won't be that easy for any of us. Yeah, the potential inflation would can be very hard hitting for any of the markets. Well, in the month of December last year, even though the market was still on a bull run, but I started to pay attention and to be wary of the fact of inflation, of potential inflation. So I have already started to cut down my positioning significantly.
Did you say
And it
December of this year you cut back, or December of last year?
last year,
December last year,
Oh, well, what I mean is December
2024.
2024 you cut back.
2024. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Okay. So
yeah.
you're not as long as you
And
were.
what?
You are not as long
Um,
as you were. You don't have as many long positions on now as you did at the end at say in November of 2024.
Correct. Okay. So in my other trading accounts, I also started to cut down my positioning significantly. And I just want to supplement what I wanted to say earlier is that after a 2-year bull market, and the market can be very fragile and would be would subject to any market corrections in no time. I think the market expectation on the interest rates went insane. People have been expecting Donald Trump to cut interest rates significantly, and simply because of this market expectation, there is
No, no,
another
no,
bull run.
not Donald Trump cut the interest rate significantly. The tax cut.
A tax cut. So sorry, let me go back a bit. Is that the expectation on the tax rates cuts has gone insane, and there are the market expectation on that has led to another bull run, which is very unreasonable and which is also very risky for the market at that time.
Are you short right now any stocks?
No, no, no shorting.
Yeah.
Have you ever wanted to quit? Have you ever thought about quitting the stock market?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. During that year when I lost miserably. Oh, my epic failure came from shorting the Brazil market because there has been numerous political scandals that I started to short the market, and I've learned my big lesson.
So, would it be fair to say that it's not easy to make money in the stock markets and that you probably don't expect to make the kind of return that you made this year, or excuse me, in 2024, and that listeners should not expect to just start trading and all of a sudden make 353%?
Can you
Exactly.
clarify your question again?
Well, I'm basically making a statement and also asking a question.
Okay.
Let me make my statement to everyone, okay?
Okay.
We started this contest in 1983, okay? And I used to trade myself. So I have a lot of experience in seeing exactly how people do in the markets. And unfortunately, the truth is that it's very, 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 very difficult to consistently make big returns in the market. And
Mm.
anybody that can do more than 20 or 30% should be really happy and jumping all around and celebrating, okay? Because it's really hard. So I don't want anyone listening to this podcast to think that, oh, it's easy to make 353%. This gentleman in front of us, he said it himself. He spent 10,000 hours, okay? And so you've got to walk before you can run and just start off, read things, play money or small account. Do not risk any significant amount of money until you've really studied and traded for several years. So that's my point. Let me ask you this question, J-Law. It's been very, very interesting to me. I really appreciate your spending this much time with us. First of all, do you have anything you want to plug?
呢年可唔可以翻譯？
Can you repeat your
Do
question?
you have anything you want to promote? Do you have a
Oh,
website? Do you have a YouTube channel? Do you have anything that you want to promote?
oh yeah.
My YouTube channel, JLaw Stock. I've spent 5 years to build this YouTube channel. I selflessly shared my trading tips and also, more importantly, my trading psychology. I think this is very important. I want to inspire more people to get to experience the trading market.
Okay. Is there anything that you have not said that you'd like to add to what you've said so far?
Well, I want to share my perspective on paper trade or trading simulators, which I think above all else, the psychology of trading is very important. It's more important than the practice. Well, above all the trades, it still springs to my mind. I can't forget my mistake made on trading the CrowdStrike stock because I didn't follow my own rules and I failed. So the psychology at the end of the day is more important than anything else. If you trade by the paper, not by real money, you won't be experiencing the true feelings that how much it hurts when you lose a stock, lose money on a
Ye-
stock. So I won't recommend I won't recommend new beginners to trade with a big portion of money, but I think it is very important to learn trading with real money, but in a small position. In my earlier years, I didn't control the entire how much money that I invested in the market, and at the end, I almost lost all of my savings in my early years. So you have to be cautious.
Can I ask you one more question before we leave? Your wife is a trader, isn't she?
Yeah,
Who's better?
correct.
Who's better? You or your wife?
Yes, she is, and I want to share a story. To be very honest, I won't enjoy discussing about stocks in my date with her. Well, she started to get into the trading market at the beginning as my assistant on my YouTube channel. She helped me to do animation and cartoons and gave me lots of interesting ideas to promote my YouTube channel. I didn't expect that I would have inspired her to be a trader through my YouTube videos. And so this is how it goes. And she started to turn into the trader with me along with my growth of my YouTube channel.
所以其實佢係我其中一個學生。
So she is my student.
Aha. A happy student. A happy student.
Yeah, using my money to invest.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite understand that, but obviously anybody that wants to like learn quickly should marry a top money manager or work with a top money manager. This was wonderful. I want to thank both of you very much. I think we're done. I want to thank the viewers for watching. If you've lasted this long, hopefully you learned something or maybe many things. Thank you again. We're going to try to do one
Thank
more
you.
pretty soon, but thank you, Mr. Law. Thank you.
Thank you.